Let's start with Jacques Vallée, the Sherlock Holmes of UFO research. Vallée is a legend in the field, known for his sharp intellect and relentless curiosity. He's not just a name in the footnotes, he's a pioneer who shaped how we think about unexplained phenomena. He's not your average UFO enthusiast, he's a scientist with a PhD, a NASA background, and a hand in building the early internet. Vallée's career bridges the worlds of hard science and the unknown, making him a rare voice who commands respect from both skeptics and believers. Vallée investigates with facts, not fantasies, and is respected for his rigorous skeptical approach. He's meticulous, always double-checking sources, and demanding evidence before drawing conclusions. His scientific discipline sets him apart in a field often clouded by speculation. He travels the world, interviews witnesses, and digs through archives, always searching for patterns others miss. Whether it's a remote village or a bustling city, Vallée goes wherever the evidence leads, determined to uncover the truth behind the stories. While most debated aliens from Mars, Vallée asked if UFOs might be from other dimensions, or something even stranger. He challenged the mainstream narrative, opening up new possibilities and encouraging others to think beyond the obvious. He built one of the first computer databases for UFO sightings, analyzing them statistically for hidden connections. This groundbreaking work helped bring order to chaos, revealing patterns that had gone unnoticed for decades. Vallée isn't out to prove aliens exist. He's determined to understand the phenomenon, whatever it is. For him, the real question isn't just, are we alone, but what is really happening here? When he puts his name on a case, like the one in his book Trinity, everyone in the field pays attention. His involvement signals that a case is worth serious consideration, and his insights often spark new debates and investigations. This isn't just a story to him, it's a mystery he's investigated with all his scientific expertise. Vallée's work reminds us that the unknown deserves careful study, and that sometimes the real answers are stranger than we ever imagined. So, what's the secret Vallée uncovered? For decades, the world has been captivated by stories of mysterious crashes and government cover-ups, but few have dared to dig as deep as Jacques Vallée. His latest investigation takes us back to a pivotal moment in history, one that could rewrite everything we think we know about UFOs in America. In Trinity, the best-kept secret, Vallée claims a UFO crashed in New Mexico, not in 1947 like the famous Roswell incident, but in August 1945, in the shadow of World War II's end. This revelation shifts the timeline of UFO history and raises the stakes for what might have really happened in the American Southwest. That's just a month after the world's first atomic bomb was detonated at the Trinity site, a moment that changed the course of human history forever. The proximity in time and place between these two events is more than a coincidence. It's a mystery begging to be unraveled. The timing is astonishing, raising big questions about whether the dawn of the nuclear age might have drawn the attention of something or someone far beyond our world. Vallée and co-author Paola Harris build their case on direct, consistent eyewitness testimony. They track down those who were there, people whose lives were changed in an instant, and who have held on to their stories for decades. These aren't rumors. These are detailed accounts from people who saw the craft and its wreckage firsthand, describing sights and sounds that defy explanation. Their stories, once whispered in secret, are now brought into the light. At its core, Trinity is a human story about a family forever changed by an impossible event. It's about the fear, wonder, and confusion that followed, and the lasting impact on those who witnessed the unthinkable. If true, this crash predates Roswell by 2 years, suggesting the government's secrecy and interest in UFOs began much earlier than anyone thought. It hints at a hidden history, one that's been carefully guarded for generations. Trinity proposes a new origin for the UFO cover-up, linking it directly to the dawn of the nuclear age. The implication is profound. Did our leap into atomic power attract attention from beyond Earth? The book lays out the timeline and evidence in meticulous detail, challenging everything we thought we knew about the origins of the UFO phenomenon and the government's role in concealing it. Vallée and Harris back up their bold claim with painstaking research, cross-referencing documents, interviews, and physical evidence. Their work invites us to question the official story and to consider that the truth may be far stranger than fiction. The heroes of this story? Two young boys, Jose Padilla, age 9, and Remy Barca, age 7. On a routine day in August 1945, they were searching for a lost cow on their family ranch. Suddenly, a loud bang and screech shattered the quiet. Something crashed on their land. Driven by curiosity, they raced toward the smoke and dust. What they found was beyond belief, a bizarre metallic object shaped like a damaged avocado embedded in the earth. The craft was seamless, unlike any plane they'd seen. As they approached, they saw a hole in the side and movement inside. There were beings within, not just machinery. Overwhelmed, the boys realized they'd stumbled onto something secret and extraordinary. They rushed home to tell Jose's father, a New Mexico State police officer. Their ordinary day had become the most extraordinary of their lives. This encounter would haunt them forever. Let's zoom in on what the boys saw that day. A moment that would change their lives forever and leave them with questions that would linger for years. Resting in the field was a craft, about 25 to 30 feet long, shaped unmistakably like an avocado. Its surface was made of a light, seamless metal, so thin it seemed almost delicate, yet no matter how hard they tried, it was impossible to dent or scratch. The material was unlike anything they'd ever seen, reflecting the sunlight in a strange, almost otherworldly way. When Jose returned with his father, they managed to lift a piece of the debris. It was astonishingly light, almost like balsa wood, but it wouldn't bend, break, or even show a mark. The adults were just as baffled as the children, passing the piece between them, marveling at its strange properties. The hull had been torn open, exposing a glimpse inside. There were panels and controls, but nothing that resembled the cockpit of any airplane or vehicle they knew. The arrangement was alien, with symbols and lights that made no sense, as if designed for hands and minds unlike our own. Inside, they saw 3 beings, small, thin-limbed, with oversized heads and huge dark eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. Their appearance was more insect-like than human, with a fragile, almost delicate quality to their bodies. Their skin was a pale, grayish color, and their movements were slow, almost dreamlike, as if they were dazed or injured. The boys watched, transfixed, as the creatures struggled to move, clearly weakened by the crash. Instead of fear, the boys felt a deep sense of pity for these fragile, injured beings. They saw not monsters, but living creatures in pain, far from home and in desperate need of help. The beings, for their part, seemed to ignore the boys entirely, focused on their own struggle for survival. They communicated with each other in ways the boys couldn't understand, their attention fixed on their wounded companions. This was more than just a crash site. It was a deeply personal encounter with something truly alien, a moment that blurred the line between science fiction and reality. The sight of living, breathing occupants inside the wrecked craft transformed the event from something strange and mysterious into an experience the boys would never forget. What set this story apart was the boys' empathy, their instinct to comfort, not to run. In that moment, they saw themselves not as witnesses to a disaster, but as silent companions to beings from another world. The wreck was no longer just a pile of twisted metal. It was a vessel that had carried life across the stars, a reminder that the universe might be far more alive than we ever imagined. That image, the strange craft, the wounded beings, and the boys' compassion would stay with them forever, shaping the way they saw the world and the mysteries it holds. After the discovery, Jose and Remy told Jose's father, Faustino Padilla, a New Mexico State police officer. Faustino took the boys seriously and saw the craft for himself. Realizing the gravity, he secured the area and warned his family to stay silent. Days later, the military arrived in force, trucks, soldiers, and strict orders. The site was cordoned off. The family was ordered indoors. Soldiers worked around the clock, swiftly loading the wreckage onto trucks and covering it from view. The craft vanished as quickly as it had appeared. Before leaving, a high-ranking officer warned the Padilla family. Forget what you saw and never speak of it. The threat was clear. Their silence was mandatory. The family's life returned to normal, but the memory of that day never faded. The government's response was swift, secretive, and absolute. The incident was buried, at least for a while. For decades, the Padilla and Baca families kept their secret until age and conscience pushed them to speak. Enter Jacques Vallée and Paula Harris, who approached the case with scientific rigor. They conducted exhaustive interviews with Jose and Remy, finding their stories consistent even after decades. Consistency is key for any investigator, and these accounts held up. Vallée and Harris visited the crash site, matching witness memories to the landscape. They searched for physical evidence, analyzing soil and debris. Remarkably, they found metallic fragments with unusual isotopic ratios, unlike typical Earth materials. This physical evidence, combined with archival research, gave the case scientific weight. Vallée's approach blended human testimony with hard data. The result, a powerful, convincing case for something extraordinary. Trinity became more than a story. It became a challenge to the official narrative. Why does the Trinity crash matter so much? Timing, location, and implication. The crash happened just weeks after the first atomic bomb test, less than 40 miles away. This isn't coincidence. It suggests our nuclear leap may have drawn attention from elsewhere. UFO sightings often cluster around nuclear sites. Trinity could be the first and most dramatic example. The implication, our atomic age may have triggered a new era of observation by non-human intelligence. Trinity shifts the narrative from random encounters to a direct response to humanity's technological power. Did our nuclear test act as a cosmic alarm bell? The event forces us to reconsider the motives behind the mystery. If true, Trinity is a Rosetta Stone for understanding UFOs and their interest in us. For decades, Roswell was the UFO capital, the supposed start of the cover-up. But Trinity, the best-kept secret, rewrites that history. If Vallée and Harris are right, the most significant crash happened in 1945, not 1947. That means the military had already handled a UFO retrieval before Roswell. The infamous weather balloon story at Roswell may have been a pre-planned cover, not a panicked lie. Trinity provides a precedent for secrecy, a blueprint for how the government managed these events. This new timeline changes everything about the official response. Trinity doesn't just add to UFO lore, it challenges the very foundation of the modern UFO era. It asks us to reconsider where the real story of secrecy began. Before Roswell, a family on a quiet ranch witnessed the true beginning of the best-kept secret of the last century. If you're intrigued by Jacques Vallée's revelations in Trinity, I highly recommend reading the book for a deeper dive into the story. You'll find the link in the description below.